Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to the temple. If you're watching us on YouTube, you have in the bottom of your link kind of a virtual prayer book that you can follow the service. And if you want to just enjoy the beauty of the music and the beauty of the words of the prayers, then you can just sit and relax. We will say the pages where we're reading for, so you can follow the prayer books that are next to you if you're sitting here at our sanctuary. Mazal Tov to Elijah, who is going to become a bar mitzvah today. We hope and wish for you that it would be a sweet and long and a happy journey for you. We begin our service as we sing Ma Yafeh Hayom, how beautiful the day is. Turn to page 172 to sing together Matov. Turn now to page 178, the bottom of the page. It's on page 8 on Elijah's folder. And I turn the microphone to Elijah, who is going to lead us from now till almost the end of the service. Please, Elijah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who houses us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of your Torah. Adonai, our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us, to the house of Israel, your people, and that we, our children, may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah to our people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah la'amo Yisrael. Elu devarim she'ein lahem shiur. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world. While the principle remains in the world to come, they are honoring one's father and one's mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Please rise and turn to page 195. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Elam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever.
Adonai, Amivorach, Le'olam. olam vaed. Praised be the one to whom our praise is due. Praised be the one to whom our praise is due. Praised be the one to whom our praise is due. Now and forever. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei hoshech, oseh shalom uvrei et hakol, hameir la'aretz veladarim aleha barachamim. Uvtuvo machadesh bekol yom tamid, maaseh bereshit ma rabu maasacha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita mala haaretz kininecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach maaseh yadecha, ועל מאורי אור שעשית, יפה ארוחה סלה. אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. Please join me. The world is sunlight restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to eyes. More welcome than gold, the Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeem the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot. Please turn to page 199. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one unifier of humanity. We give thanks for sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalms and sages of Israel, and joyfully remember that from the dawn of Israel's life. We would turn to you and find purpose. May the teaching of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir in our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Hero Israel, or Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hero Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Ba'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Ba'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol ovevecha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol me'odecha. V'hayu, or you may, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi matzavecha hayom al ovevecha, v'shinantam lavanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha bevetecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochecha uv'kumecha, uk'shartam la'ot al yedecha, v'hayu latotofot ben enecha, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לחיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise.
Turn to page 203 as we read together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, o sefele, mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh.
Please rise and turn to page 205 for the tefillah.
Ananana sfatai tifta, ananana ufi agid ilotecha, ananana Adonai, ananana sfatai tifta, ananana ufi agid ilotecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagedol hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon gomel hasadim tovim. Ve'koneh hakol ve'zocher חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. Source of all being, we turn to you as did our people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives, their quest is ours. Help us to see the world, the wonder of being, give us the courage to search for truth, tell us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring near the world we envision, one of justice, freedom, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. We read together.
You are
the open door
that beckons me in. Peeking around the door frame, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions, waiting to be posed. They fill me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher. Encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כיבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכינו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהים, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated.
And you can also sit if you want. So usually when Jennifer sings Yismechu, that's my time to sit next to Elijah and to tell him what a great job he did. But we cannot in this time. I was trying to catch your eye, so to do like that, but I wasn't sure whether I'm successful. So I want you to know you're doing a great job. And the first part is the hardest, the first thing that you do. So the rest is going to be just a piece of cake. So feel good and relax, you're doing great. We're turning now to page 216 for the blessing for Shalom. O God, may we never become complacent, faltering in our effort to build a world of peace. Let the nations know and understand that justice and right are better than dominion and conquest. May all come to see that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch ata Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. The prayer for courage and strength and healing is on page 253.
מקור הברכה לאותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
And we turn now to the Seder Kriyat Torah, the order of reading from the Torah on Shabbat, on page 244. Elijah now to uncover the Torah. Don't move the microphone yet. You're not reading from the Torah yet. Just uncover it and make sure that it's still in the right place. And now you go in your folder to page 25 to share with us the prayer for becoming a bar mitzvah.
Our God and God of our ancestors, I stand before the sacred assembly, proclaiming that I choose to be a part of the people of Israel, a part of its heritage and its fate bound by its commandments. Give me strength to follow your path, to be a source of pride to my family, my community, and my people. How greatly we are blessed, how good is our portion, how pleasant our lot, and how beautiful our heritage, when we sanctify your name and declare, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
And before you say the blessing, you can see the Torah Blessing on page 250, and you'll be able to follow the reading from the Torah both in Hebrew and in English in those blue handouts that we have here. Please go.
Our Torah portion is taken from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, beginning with verse 18. Baruch hu et Adonai havorach.
Baruch Adonai havorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai havorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now you want to tilt the microphone so we will hear you while you chant beautifully the Torah.
שופטים ושוטרים תיתן לך בהושעך אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך לשפטך ושפטו את המשפט צדק לא תטה משפט לא תכיר פנים ולא תיקח שוחד כי השוחד יעבר עיני ההומים ויסלב דברי צדיקים צדק צדק תרדוף למען תהיה וירשת הארץ אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך לא תיטע לך אשרה כל עץ אצל מזבח אדוני אלוהיך אשר תעשה לה לא ולא תקים לה מצבה אשר שנא אדוני אלוהיך לא תזבח לאדוני אלוהיך שור ועשה אשר אדוני בו כל דבר רע כי תאהבה אדוני אלוהיך הוא Ki matzeh b'kirbacha b'ha'ad sha'areha asher Adonai Eloheha noten la ish o isha asher yaseh hara b'nei Adonai Eloheha lavor berito.
And now you can tilt the microphone back and share with us the translation, which everyone can follow on the blue handout.
You shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns that the Eternal your God is giving you. According to your tribes, thou shalt judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice. You shall not show partiality. And you shall not accept for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. Justice, and only justice you shall follow, that you may live and inherit the land that the Eternal your God is giving you. Do not sacrifice you shall not plant any tree beside an asher or the altar of the Eternal your God that you shall make, and you shall not set up a pillar which the Eternal your God hates. Do not sacrifice the Eternal your God an ox or a sheep that has any defect or flaw in it. That would be detestable to him. If a man or woman living among you in one of these towns the Eternal gives you is found doing evil in the eyes of the Eternal, your God in violation of God's covenant, and contrary to my command has worshipped other gods, bowing down to them or to the sun or to the moon and the stars in the sky, and has been brought to your attention, then you must investigate it thoroughly. If it is true, and it has been proved that this detestable thing has been done in Israel, take the man or woman who has done this evil deed to your city gate and stone that person to death. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
וזאת התורה שעשה משה לפני בני ישראל, וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה, על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל.
And you can follow the reading from the prophet also here on the blue handout.
Our Torah portion is taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, beginning with verse 1 through 9. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim, v'ratza b'divreihem hane'eman be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'torah, u'meshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'mvi'im ha'emet b'tzedek. Uri Uri, lishi uzech Zion, lishi bigdei tifartech Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh, ki lo yosif yavovach od Ariel v'tameh, hidna ari me'afar kumi shevi Yerushalayim, hitpatchi mosrei savarech, sheviya bat Zion, ki cho amar Adonai, hinam nimkartem velo v'chesef tigelu, ki cho amar Adonai Elohim. Mitzrayim, Yerad Amo Barishana, Vagor Sham Vashor Be'efes Ashakov. Va'ata ma lifo Naum Adonai, Ki Luka Ami Chinam, Moshlav Yeheli lo Naum Adonai. V'tamid Kol Hayom Shemi Minawatz Lahem Yeda, Ami Shemi Lachem Bayom chahu ki ninecha titbara ki ani hu hamdaber hineni ma navo al harim ragle mavaser moshmia shalom avaser tov mashmia Yeshua אומר לציון מלך אלוהיך. כל סופייך נשו כל ידך ירננו כי עין בעין ירו בשוב אדוני ציון פיצחו רננו יחדיו חרבות ירושלים כי פתחי כי ניחם אדוני עמו גאל ירושלים. Awake, awake, Zion, clothe yourself with strength. Put on your garments of splendor. Jerusalem, the holy city, the uncircumcised and defiled will not enter you again. Shake off your dust. Rise up, sit enthroned, Jerusalem. Free yourself from the chains on your neck. Daughter Zion, now a captive, for this is what the Eternal says. You were sold for nothing, and without money you will be redeemed. For this is what the sovereign God says. At first my people went to Egypt to live. Lately Assyria has oppressed them. And now what do I have here, declares the Eternal God. For my people have been taken away for nothing, and those who rule them mock, declares the Eternal God. And all day long my name is constantly blasphemed, therefore my people will know my name. Therefore that day they will know, that is I who foretold, yes it is I. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those bringing good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, who say to Zion, your God reigns. Listen, your watchmen, lift up their voices. Together they shout for joy. When the Eternal returns to Zion, they will see with their own eyes, burst into songs of tears, your ruins of Jerusalem. For the Eternal has confronted God's people. God has redeemed Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, sor kol ha'alamim, sadik b'chol hadaorot ha'el ha'ne'eman. Hamdaber ve'oshe, hamdaber umkaim, shekol davran emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah va'al ha'dova va'al ha'nviim va'al yom. Taz hashabat hazeh שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך, ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך, בפי כל חי תמיד, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen. Great job, and now it's time for teaching us what you've learned from your speech.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming, especially Faust family. You're not part of the family, so thank you for coming. So I have some outside influence. Thank you for calling this a special day. It's important to me that y'all are here. I affirm my Jewish identity. Just real quick, let me just discuss what becoming a bar mitzvah means to me. So, for me, becoming a bar mitzvah, it's a responsibility. It's not just a title. So, as a bar mitzvah, I'm responsible for doing mitzvah, which is, for those of you unfamiliar, which is about 90% of you. Mitzvah is like good deeds. That's the best way I can put it. It's just good deeds. I, like every other bar mitzvah, am going to be responsible for that. An active mitzvah can be any good deed, giving money to homeless, working with local communities to improve them, working with animals. During the time allotted for me to do my mitzvah, could not. There's COVID-19 going around, shut a whole lot of things down. All the places I wanted to volunteer would not allow anyone just because of the COVID concerns. So I began to study what it means to be going forward to be a mitzvah. So I think it's important to have a lifelong mitzvah project and an obligation to do mitzvah as a cornerstone of Jewish tradition. Becoming a bar mitzvah has been a rite of passage and a privilege. It's a rite of passage to cultural and religious Jews for many years before and to come. In other cultures, rite of passage coming from training animals or freeing them. I make this point not to create divide between Jewish customs and other customs, but to draw similarities between other cultures and further show why mitzvah is important to not just to Jews, but to all other cultures. The portion of the Torah I read today was part of Shoftim, chapters 16:8 to 17:9, from the book of Deuteronomy. My Torah portion is about justice and how it should be pursued. As my first sentence of my Torah portion states, you shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns that the eternal your God is giving you, and they shall judge people with righteous judgment. In the modern era, we have failed multiple times to uphold this. In our own city of Louisville, we have failed to appoint righteous judges and you could say that we've failed to appoint righteous judges and officers. As I grow older, I think it's more important to focus on the offer that is most socially just solution as a lifelong mitzvah. Shoftim is the Hebrew word for judges. My portion emphasizes that we are supposed to be our own judges and judge righteously, who we appoint as officers and legal judges. My portion also states, justice, justice, and only shall follow. The student of Torah may wonder why the word justice is repeated twice, but the answer Rabbi gave me was the Torah repeats the word justice for the same reason as someone says something good. You would say the word good twice to give it emphasis. Now, becoming a bar mitzvah, so I kind of got to start where I started becoming Jewish. So that's about this time, 2018. Began converted to Judaism. I didn't start reading the prayers in Hebrew until about June 2019, when the rabbi's assistant Clayton taught me the alphabet, vowels, how to properly read the Hebrew, pronunciations, etc. At the beginning of my conversion, I knew I wanted to become a bar mitzvah, but I had a long way to go until I officially became a Jew. On Sunday, September 8th, I attended my first day of Hebrew school. Unfortunately, the rabbi's assistant had taught me how to read. Fortunately, the rabbi's assistant had taught me how to read Hebrew. I felt that becoming a bar mitzvah was smooth sailing until the rabbi gave me a Torah portion. Upon receiving my Torah portion, my loving family asked me what it was about. I simply answered rules and laws. Upon my family hearing that, they would continue to remind me about how fitting it was. I was completely foreign to the prayers. I was doing it on repeat. Fast forward to December 2019. My father and I talked to the rabbi about becoming a bar mitzvah. I got my date, which was, you can guess what day it was. Upon receiving my bar mitzvah date, I was met with the rude awakening that I was still yet to become Jewish. During the time between becoming Jewish and becoming a bar mitzvah, it felt harder than it felt incredibly difficult. And then in February, before the coronavirus began to change many of our lives, officially became Jewish. And then quarantine happened, so that kind of threw everything off balance. During the quarantine, I began to let my Hebrew education slip, but come June, the bar mitzvah was getting incredibly close. So I began studying again, started coming back to me. The original bar mitzvah was supposed to be in August, but due to the inability of some family members not being able to come due to COVID, we moved it to today, and I'm thankful for that. Today I can close the long and difficult chapter of becoming a bar mitzvah and begin to focus on what it means to be a Jewish man. So we finish off with thanks. So first I want to thank Mom and Dad, who brought me here. Rabbi David and Rabbi Joe, Clayton, the Hebrew school teachers for their unbelievable amount of patience and dedication to teaching Hebrew. I would also like to give thanks to Brom and Tegan for being there the entire time I was becoming Jewish, Ezra and his family. I'd like to thank my teachers at CM and Jeff, and I'd thank everyone for coming, and that's about it.
Well, first of all, your mother and I just wanted to say we're very proud of you. We've been able to see a lot of the changes over the last, well, not just the last year, but I would say the last 2 or 3 years into becoming this young man. This journey has pretty much been his own journey to convert to Judaism, which at the time I thought was just the weirdest thing. But as we started to going to services, I could see it was something that he's very passionate about. And even in our own household, he kind of holds myself and his brothers accountable, as far as keeping kosher and some of the intricate rules we don't always know. So this is amazing to see you here today leading services as a bar mitzvah. I know more bigger and better things are headed your way. We're very happy and pleased with services today and where you're going. So this is just the beginning. Like you said, it's a lifelong journey. And with the mitzvah, not just good deeds, but also the commandments. And just in the household, I can say that you have been a keeper of the commandments, because we always disagree on mostly the what is kosher and what is not kosher, but also just the holy days, holidays, and just keeping Shabbat and things of that nature. So just wanted to tell you in front of everyone here that we're just very proud of you, where you are and where you're headed. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So thank you, Elijah. Thank you for leading us so beautifully at the service with all the prayers and doing such a great job chanting your Torah and reading your Haftarah. And thank you for sharing with us what you learned along your journey, preparing for this day, and what you learned from your Torah and from your reading from the prophets. I want to personally thank you for what I've learned from you. Elijah appeared at the temple world about 2 years ago. And am I correct? More or less 2 years?
Yeah, just about.
And he showed not only me, but his entire class what dedication to Judaism means, what dedication to learning Hebrew. And in 2 years, it was supposed to be less than 2 years before COVID hit us all and changed a little bit the plans, to be in the level of students that have been studying that for 6 or 7 years. So thank you for that. And thank you also for being the kind of person that you are. You mentioned that your family appreciates how much you appreciate rules and order. I don't know if you meant it sarcastically or not. I'm not that familiar, but they're saying no, that you really meant it. But I want to thank you for being such a conscientious person and for the values that you example already in such a young age. Your Torah portion says, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof, which sometimes is translated as justice, justice you shall pursue. It almost sounds like a sign or a slogan on a protest downtown in Louisville or all over, not only the United States, but all over the world right now. I can tell you actually that where I come from, Jerusalem, you can see it on a lot of signs in the ongoing protest against injustice there. And as you mentioned, the Torah is aware that it's actually grammatically wrong. You cannot say that. You cannot repeat the same word right one after the other. So why is the Torah saying that? So you mentioned the reason, which is what most people say. It's to show the emphasis and the importance of justice to any society, and to almost say that without it, a society cannot stand. Also, I want to add something about the third word there. It says tzedek, tzedek, justice, justice, and then tirdof, you shall pursue. Or actually, more accurately, the Hebrew is to run after. Normally, we don't run after mitzvot. We do not pursue commandments. Last night, your family led the blessing over the candles and the fruit of the wine. We don't do it on Tuesday. We only do it on the eve of Shabbat or the eve of a holiday. You don't pursue it. When it comes, you do it. We just celebrated Sukkot, the holiday where you build a booth. You don't build a booth in the middle of the year for no reason. I mean, unless you really are into it. in your garden. You do it when the time comes. Hopefully you don't fast every day. You only fast on Yom Kippur or other fast days. You don't pursue fasting. So I want to tell you, the only commandment, the only mitzvah in the entire Torah that we're told that we have to pursue is justice. In the entire Bible, there's another mitzvah. Later on in the book of Psalms, it says that also shalom, peace and wholeness, one shall pursue. But in the entire 5 books of Moses, you got the only mitzvah that is so important that we have to actually run after that. And now for the repetition. I want to add another reason for that, not my own, it's a rabbinical interpretation. And that is one justice, one time tzedek is there because it's so important and we have to pursue justice, meaning radical justice. Everything has to be just, everything has to be true. And the other justice is we have to realize that we're part of a society. There are other people, there are other opinions, and we need to live along with them with peace and wholeness. So the second justice is actually for mediation and compromise, finding the middle ground. My hope and prayer for you, since you're a person with strong convictions and you have in a good way that stubbornness to stick into what you want to do, just like you pursued the Hebrew and becoming a bar mitzvah and becoming Jewish. So my hope for you is that you will keep your convictions, you will keep your pursuit of justice and truth, but you will also learn in your life that sometimes we need to compromise, whether it's with your mother or father or siblings. I'm sure you had to make compromises about your sleep at night with babies around you and things like that, and that you will have a long and a happy and a sweet journey as a bar mitzvah. I also want to thank you and your family for the responsibility and the solidarity with our congregation that you've shown not only along the way, but also in postponing the bar mitzvah when you realize that there is COVID in your school and you didn't want to endanger everyone. That was extremely responsible on your part and the part of your family. And I want to end with 2 things. One is the priestly benediction that we say to one another. I wish I could put my hands around you while doing that, maybe in another time, in better time. And the other thing, if you pick in your podium, you would see that there are gifts there, there are presents there. And I'll tell you one exciting thing about them before we end with the priestly benediction. We decided to upgrade the present that we give to every bar mitzvah. So you're the first one to get the upgraded gift. So you're getting a better gift than anyone before you. But don't tell your classmate. And Ezra, you don't have to be jealous. You'll get the same gift when your time will come. And also there are new certificates that the temple created, nicer one, better one. So you're the first one to get all the new and improved stuff. I don't know if it's exciting for you, it's exciting for me.
That's just exciting for me.
And with that in mind, I want to share with you the priestly benediction. Yevarchecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God always bless you and guard you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yechunecha. May God's face always shine upon you, and may God always deal graciously with you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the presence of Adonai our God be always with you, and may God always grant you the most important blessing of all, the blessing of shalom, of peace and wholeness and wellness. Amen. Our anthem is Lechilach. You can sit down if you want.
to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. On your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechila, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. To the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lechila. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechila.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember especially Lonnie Nafusi, Marianne Morgulin, Sylvia Steinberg-Waller, David Frank Margolis, Augusta Lang, Dorothy Dottie Bass, Louis Brownstein, Lawrence Richard D., Ida England, Edward Sag, David Feynman, Samuel Jacobson, Jacob Carl Turk, Ruth Gerstein, Lois Joseph, Leon Blumenson, William B. Hamel, Helene Zukov, Nettie Tostin, Irving Koslow, Anne Seligman-Court, Sidney Dichter, Hortnez Platoff Sandow, Maurice Perlmutter, Harriet Spiegel, Dorothy Wasserman, Harry Klein, Max Rosenberg, Edna Hyman Schuster, Lillian Gordon Shine, Ruth Zucker, Jacob Maurice Bliden, Samuel Berg, Ronald Sternberg, Samuel S. Turk, Doreen Myers, Jack H. Siegel, Stephen N. Goodman, Henry Frank, Adele Wellington, Miriam Davidson, Estelle Filal, Mary Davidson Rudd, Irving Ehrman. We rise as we turn to page 294 to say together the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction. Amen. Our closing song is Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Mazal Tov, Elijah. You did a great job. Thank you very much. Mazal Tov to Elijah's family. And may you continue to grow from strength to strength and have a blessed journey. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.